Hey fam, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back for another recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 10, episode 15. The first half of this episode was not enjoyable to me. This isn't really an enjoyable season to me. I really want these ladies to stop focusing on one another and focus on themselves. The angel of this, the way that they kept going at her, didn't require all of this to me. And even though there's some instances where I feel like Angel's full of crap, I didn't like this, but you all let me know what you thought. So go ahead and do the things like, comment, hype me up, and subscribe because it all helps the channel. So it's day 2 in Colorado, and Angel is telling Tia and Kierna about her issue with Monique because she found out some of what Monique had been saying. And of course, also because the way Monique was trying to act like Bobby, in that problem, in that situation, she was trying to act like her saying that, she needed to talk to Bobby was a problem. Basically trying to act like Bobby is Chris. As far as she's concerned, the angel feels like the ladies like to jump to conclusions about things. I feel like Angel is right. They're acting like Bobby isn't being a hands-on parent with his kids. We saw him doing that, and there have been other instances where he has been there with the kids and she hasn't. So Angel, in my opinion, just wanted to check in with her husband and make sure that what they were trying to do was okay. It's clear that they kind of like have a different type of situation going on there with nannies and whatever else. So I just like, y'all are just doing too much. So you have Stacy and Jazzy talking in one car, and Jazzy says that this is not about Bobby. It's about Angel talking to herself and trying to figure out whether or not she wanted to come. It doesn't really have to do anything with Bobby. And that's what it is. So you have Monique talking with Wendy, Ashley, and Giselle in another car. And Monique is saying that, these athletes, they often feel like, because they bring in so much money, that all they have to do is be providers. And, I'm not speaking on Angel's marriage, but I am, talking about my concern that I have for Angel. If Monique was legitimately as concerned as she keeps on trying to make herself seem, I think that Monique should have pulled Angel to the side and had that conversation with her. You are not making me feel like you're concerned about Angel when you've already come to whatever conclusions that you have come to and made whatever assumptions you've made about Angel without talking to her. And it is rather irritating that Monique keeps on speaking like she knows things firsthand, like she is Kierna in this situation and her and Angel have this supposed close relationship, when it's clear that you don't really know the girl. Aren't you just now really meeting her here? So Monique, you can't feel like your experience is Angel's experience because you've barely been around the girl to know her experience. At this point, what? Monique's been around for a couple of weeks? And how many events did we see them be at together? Like, come on. So the ladies arrive to their destination at the private jet, the Falcon 900. And as they enter, you have Ashley telling the people not to smell her because she couldn't take a shower. So Angel's like, good morning, ladies. I want to start off by saying that I am so sorry and I apologize for your accommodations. And Giselle's like, it's too late. It's too late. Angel's trying to apologize and you're being rude saying it's too late. Here's the thing, and you guys tell me your opinion. Is it extremely inconvenient that they are staying in a house where the water decides when it wants to work, where the water hasn't been working properly? Yes. Is it Angel's fault? No, I don't really feel like it is. I think that the moment that production saw that this was a problem, production should have assisted Angel in stepping in and fixing this, because more than likely production helped get these accommodations. More than likely production provided some of the funding for this. I don't understand why it's all being put on Angel. Like, I get it. She's the host, but come on. So as far as the ladies are concerned, Angel didn't check on them and even see if the water was okay. And understand, it's like Wendy's going off, Giselle's going off, Stacy's chiming here and there, and what's the other girl's name? Not Jazzy. I can't think of the other person. It's another one. Yeah, Ashley. They're taking turns on adding different things. So Wendy's like, you didn't check on us. You didn't even see if the water was back on. A host would have, suggested like sending us an Uber or something so that we could maybe come to your home and shower. A host wouldn't just leave us hanging. So she's trying to apologize for the fact that she didn't check up on them. And Giselle's like, I wouldn't have done that, either. It's effed up and your apology is too late. It's just too much heat for what the situation is. Would I be annoyed? Yes. Would it have bothered me that I couldn't flush the toilet? Yeah. I probably would have left that night and went and paid my own money to stay at a hotel. But these ladies are just piling up on her when she already feels bad about it. So Angel's like, look, I've been up since dawn. I don't really feel like you woke up that early, but okay. I've been up since dawn, trying to work this out, trying to talk to people while you guys were over here and I found out what was wrong. I sent out an electrician and I contacted the owners of the home and this and this and this and this. And, they told me the situation was resolved. So I didn't know that this was still a problem, but I've been trying to work this out and I've been trying to find you a new home. And they're going back and forth. And I just can't help but think, you guys are on a private jet. Why are you guys doing this right now? Why are y'all arguing right now when you're going to be on this jet together for however long? Like, let the energy be good while you're up in the air, por favor. So Angel tells him, like, look, I worked it all out. I found you all some alternate accommodations. And they don't even let the girl finish because Giselle is like, I've already done some things too. So Stacy's like, I would like to hear from Giselle. I would like to hear what Giselle has found. So Giselle says, look, I'm a Four Seasons girly. I call my Four Seasons people, and we're staying at the Four Seasons, like all of us. We're going to all stay at the Four Seasons. At no point did I see Giselle pick up the phone and make a phone call to anybody. So why didn't y'all show us this? Anyways, I think production made the call, but y'all let me know what you think about that as well. Either way, they're going to be staying at the Four Seasons. So Angel's like, okay, well, let's go ahead. I apologize again. And we're going to, have a great time in Aspen. And Giselle is like, yeah, we're gonna have a great time because of us, not because of you. I wrote, good grief. This is not that deep. It just was nasty. It was nasty and rude. Be irritated, but you don't have to be rude. So Kierna wants to do a toast, and Stacey's like, why would you want to do a toast? Why would you want to do a toast, Key? No, this is not a toasting matter. And And Kara's like, look, I understand that you guys are upset. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure I'm here for Angel. I'm sorry that you guys went through what you went through, but I just want us to like kind of turn this thing around, which is why I suggested a toast. I'm not trying to be insensitive to the fact that you guys, didn't have water and stuff like that. So they end up doing a toast to Giselle. And then they're finally in the air. Y'all did a toast to Giselle because y'all was trying to be funny. You didn't have to do a toast at all if you weren't going to do a toast. So we find out that while they're in the air, that Stacy's eyes were being messed up while outside because she had in her contacts. She took the contacts out and put it on her plate, and she thinks she may have ate them. She didn't want to put them in the napkin, so she put them on their plate. That's gross. And after she finished her food, she realizes that they weren't there. Maybe they blew away. I don't know, but she's thinking that she ate them. We find out that I guess there must have been a little bit of turbulence or something because Jazzy was telling the people like, this is okay. This happens in this area, whatever. And we find out that Jazzy was a flight attendant, and then they land. So Angel lets us know that all the celebrities, all the celebrities come to Aspen, like Rihanna and she named a whole bunch of people, but I just heard Rihanna. That's all I need to hear. Um, and it's a great place to play and have fun. Her and Bobby go there all the time. So they're supposed to be having this whiskey tasting and eat some food, but we don't really see much of a tasting. So the gentleman comes out, he lets the ladies know, like, look, we got whiskey, we got vodka, we got gin, we got rum. So Monique is like, what about tea? He's like, we got tea too. But what we don't have is tequila and we don't have beer. And Ashley hears beer. Ashley's like, because y'all know Ashley loves her beer. So some of the ladies are liking this place. I did hear Angel say, thank you, not Angel, Wendy say, thank you, Angel, whatever, whatever. There was some pleasantries. Angel offers up yet another apology. Angel, I feel like your first apology was sincere. In my opinion, the ladies don't deserve any more apologies from you, especially not the way that they're acting. They're acting like Angel had them swimming around in fecal matter. She had no control over that situation, and she's trying to make this a decent trip in spite of you all being a bunch of itches, because that's what it's turning out like. I Angel gets on my nerves at times. I think that Angel is, I thought Angel was going to be a great addition to the show. I still feel like she could be, but she has to not worry so much about what Kieran is going to think, because once her and Kiana kind of had that issue, I feel like Angel kind of like sought to have issues with the people that Kieran was having issues with, right? One of them being Wendy. But I also feel like some of the ladies are doing too much when it comes to her. And it's clear that this season their targets were Stacy, and then Angel became the other target. Now I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen at the reunion, because a lot of them are probably going to be going for Wendy now with what Wendy has going on, but we'll see. So they begin to eat their appetizers, and Monique looks at Jazzy and she's like, I got a question for you. Did you tell Angel what I said? So Jazzy's like, yeah. So she's like, why? So she's like, I was concerned because Monique you shared your experience that you had, and you compared it to Angel's, and it made me wonder if there was some type of actual correlation there. So Monique starts telling Angel, like, look, I was concerned, sometimes when you're going through so much and you're just being pulled in different directions, and you got things going on at home, you lash out at the other girls because of what's going on in your home. So Angel's like, so you're wondering if that's what I'm experiencing? Because I'm not. She tells us her husband pampers her and she's not depleted. Angel's like, look, I use the verb watch because that's what I call it. We both watch our children. But the bottom line is, I asked my husband, I told my husband, I spoke with my husband and informed him out of respect. This is what we do. It's healthy communication. And I don't understand why these women are acting like they don't get it, especially the ones that are still currently married. So Giselle wants to know why she didn't have childcare if she knew that they were coming into town. I wrote in my notes again, y'all are doing too much, because whether or not that woman has childcare in place is none of your business. But Angel let them know, I do have childcare in place. The sitter was there yesterday until 9 o'clock the previous night, and she's going to be there again tonight. I feel like I can understand y'all wanted Angel to spend more time with you guys, and maybe that's why the sitter thing may have came up. But Angel don't want to spend more time with you all. And after y'all keep berating her and feeling like everything she says is a lie, even though sometimes it is, why would she want to be around you? I don't blame her for not wanting to be around you after watching this episode. So Wendy's like, the bigger issue here is Jazzy. Jazzy, you told Angel what was said. Why would you do that when you know Monique wanted to tell her herself? I don't feel like that's the bigger issue. Was Jazzy carrying bones? Maybe a little bit, but I also understand when Jazzy said like her and Angel have gotten closer. and y'all sitting there talking about the girl. I don't really feel like Monique had intentions of talking to Angel about it because she would have done it. You had ample opportunity to do so. She was talking to the other ladies instead. So we saw her have the conversation multiple times with the different women before she had it with Angel. And I already said it. She should have went to her first. So Jazzy's like, Angel and I have gotten close, and they're all surprised by this. And she's like, we talk on the phone. So they're like, off camera. She's like, yeah, off camera. So she says she took Tia in as her default. Now, what she shouldn't have said default, because Tia wasn't a default, Jazzy. If she wanted you in the house that badly, she would have picked you, but she didn't. Now, maybe it was yeah, I don't know. She would have picked you, right? So Angel's like, look, I did plan on having Jazzy, Tia, and Kierna at my home, but I realized that I could not properly accommodate 3 additional people, so I could only take 2. So Tia's like, default? I'm not a default. So Tia's like, if she wanted her in there, she would be there. I do agree with Tia on that. So Wendy just wants Angel to stand on business and admit that she did not want certain people in her house because she doesn't rock with them. She's like, that's what we do. That's what I did when I had my trip and we went here. I made sure that I gave Giselle and Robin the worst accommodations. And we get a flashback of them in that room where they all had to bunk in with, when Giselle had a boot on and she had to climb upstairs and everything to stay in this room. She's like, that you look out for the people that you like. So Angel doesn't feel that way. And Wendy calls it BS. Angel, you did say you only wanted certain energy in your home. That was a great moment for you to say, okay, I am closer to these individuals, but I still want to get to know, or still, wanted to make you other ladies feel included as well, or welcome as well, or whatever the word would be. So Wendy calls it BS and they pile on her again. And I didn't like the fact that Stacy was interjecting as well, because Stacy, when it was being done to you, you didn't like it. You often left a room when it was being done to you. So to me, it's kind of messed up for you to be doing it to someone else. I guess you're just happy at this point it's not happening to you. So Angel's like, look, y'all gonna believe whatever you want to believe. There's nothing I can say to rectify this situation. So why don't we just go ahead and head to the next spot? So the ladies get up to go. They're going to walk over because it's like a 3-minute walk. And she is emotionally drained because of how heavy all of this is to her. She told us very early on she's an energy type of person, and she has been surrounded by a bunch of negativity. People react differently in those things. And I was watching this and I thought about my best friend, because when it comes to stuff like this, my best friend and I are kind of opposite in the way we deal with things. She's the type of person who you say something out the way and she has to process it. Like, she does this whole process it thing, and she'll respond to you in that moment, but she thinks about it more. And as she thinks about it, it might be a whole hour later where she then, like, I don't want to call it word vomit, but then she has a whole bunch to say about something because she marinated on it. Whereas I'm the type of person who, if you say something slick to me, I'm gonna come right back at you real quick and say something else. That's not how she is. And I feel like that's kind of what we're seeing a little bit with Angel, with the heavier stuff. I think that these ladies are a bit much for her. So Monique is kind of like half hugging her as she's sitting at the table, and tears are running down Angel's face. And Monique tells her the key to this is oversharing and being open and being vulnerable with these women. But why would Angel want to share and be vulnerable with people who continue to judge her and pick apart every little thing that she says? They're not creating an environment where someone would want to be transparent, because it is kind of like she said, where whenever she tries to give them a little bit, they dump on her. So no, I don't feel like she needs to. Y'all almost done filming anyway. So the ladies walk to the next location, Kimosabe, and the staff recognize Angel because they're embracing her like, hey girl, good to see you again. So it must be somewhere that she actually does go to a lot of times with Bobby. The place has a lot of custom things, custom hats and knives and pow holders and belt buckles and boots and a whole bunch of stuff. Like, you can get some stuff done, and a bar. I really wanted to see the hat that Jazzy got, but we didn't get to see it. It has a lot going on, right? So as they're shopping, Key goes to check on Angel because she's bothered by the way this group is treating her friend. And Kierna, I know there were instances where you tried to speak up for Angel, but I wish you would say it more in that moment in front of them. Because even like when Giselle was dumping on her, Kierna tried to step in a little bit there, but y'all got to shut Giselle down. So Angel's like, at this point, they're determined to have issue. It is what it is. And she doesn't even know she wants to come back to Maryland. And I was like, what? What does this have to do with you coming back to Maryland? You want to be around family. These girls aren't your family. Come back if you want to come back. That's not going to, go back good. I should have rewinded it to make sure that's exactly what I heard, because when they came back from commercial, they were talking about something else. But I believe that's what I heard. Correct me down below if I heard wrong. So after the ladies spend some money, they go up to the VIP bar. Ashley used to bartend, so she asked the gentleman who is bartending if it's okay for her to come behind the bar, and he's like, yeah. So they make a drink together, and Ashley does what she always does, and she calls the drink the pink pussy. Yeah, and she keeps on saying it, and she pours it, and the ladies are like, that's a funny looking pink puss, because it's not pink, it's more orange than pink. So they do the shots, and Stacy seems to be the only one that doesn't like it, and she's like, well, now that I know that's what it tastes like, I don't think I'd be going down that road, because they're trying to compare it to, like, the woman's, anyways. So they then start going around the room showing what they bought and how much it costs. I'm not going through all the different things. I think the lowest price item was some earrings that Wendy, because they're rich, Wendy, this is not going to look good. Wendy's talking about how, we even buy expensive things for our kids because we're rich and they're rich. Wendy, this is not going to look good. She spent $200 and something for a birthday gift for her daughter, Cam, on some turquoise earrings. That was the cheapest gift. And the most expensive was the one, because Giselle bought some $1,000 diamond earrings, and the hat that Jazzy got made was over $1,000. And we heard $500 for this, and Angel spent like almost $3,000 on her. So I said I won't go through prices. I'm trying to remember in my head. Anyways, the most expensive was Ashley's belt. A belt with turquoise in it cost over $4,000. Man, y'all want to adopt? Y'all want to adopt an adult? Because I can't. Anyways, so Stacy's like, I'm not rich. I'm not rich, and I didn't buy anything, nor did Monique. But Monique says, I'm rich and I'm wealthy. Good for you all. I'm none of the above. So I'm saying, like, must be nice. So they move outside, and Kyle's ex-husband, Mauricio, pulls up with that hat. Let me tell y'all something. Mauricio is fine. So fine that I was watching Mauricio as he appeared on the screen, and I was like, do I need to get me a Papi Chulo? Because I don't know what it is. I always thought Mauricio was handsome. I watched the first couple seasons of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I stopped watching right before Lisa's last season. I stopped watching because Kyle used to get on my nerves, like, to the umpteenth power, and I didn't like some of the stuff that I was seeing. So I stopped watching before Lisa left. But I'm telling you, I always felt like her husband was handsome, but baby, it was something about him and that cowboy hat and the salt and pepper. Mauricio, you look good, sir. I need a Papi Chulo. So he's in town for his daughter's bachelorette. The ladies are loving him. Angel asked him, like, have you ever gone fly fishing? He's like, oh yeah, it was great. I loved it. It was a great time. You guys will enjoy it. Just get ready to have your hands, like, your hands messy. And Angel tells us about, how Wonderland has fly fishing, and it's an experience. We have a chef and all these other things. Angel, are you open yet? Because we saw the other episode when you were talking about it, you're not opening until 2026. You're talking like this is currently going on. So are the people fly fishing and getting chefs already? Because I'm confused. So Stacy ends up being a wing woman for Ashley because Ashley immediately it has a hot box when she sees Mauricio, even though a couple weeks ago she says she was in front of Kyle and sitting with Kyle. And she is just loving looking at him and talking to him. And Giselle cuts that off because Stacy and then follow Mauricio as he's about to go and they're talking to him in the corner. And Giselle's watching and Giselle's like, Mauricio, you can go ahead and go. You know, we got to go do this thing. And they're like, and you even hear Monique say, you over there blocking, cock blocking, and da 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 da. And Giselle and some of the others are like, nah, that's off limits. You know, we're kind of in the same world. So Stacey's like, we don't want to be messy, but I will go downstairs and get his number for you if you want that number. So Ashley's like, okay, maybe not his, but in the future, if we see somebody, I like your style or whatever. Ashley, if you would have stopped trying to use Stacy as a storyline, I think y'all could have been at this point. So Giselle says, okay, you guys, I got an announcement. We got an executive suite at, the Four Seasons, and everyone is welcome to come. Everybody could come, meaning there's enough space for them all. She's like, I mean, we're going to have dinner there tonight anyways. Was that prearranged? Like, when did it get determined that y'all were going to have dinner at the Four Seasons? Was that already on Angel's plan? Because I didn't quite understand that. And she was like, so we're going to have dinner, and then the next day we're going to have brunch. So Angel's like, what time is that? Because, we have to get up really early in the morning for, tomorrow's activity. And Giselle's like, no, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you, we're going to have brunch and then we're going to go home. And I was like, what? Giselle, you're rude. You're rude. You're rude. You're rude. That's all I have. If there's something that I missed that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down below. Overall, what did you guys think about this episode? Am I overreacting? Am I taking it too personally the way that they did Angel? Because I just didn't like it. And y'all know, I've said it in other reviews. There's some things that I didn't agree with when it came to Angel. But I really didn't like how they were piling up on her, especially because she felt so overwhelmed with it all that she started crying. And I just feel like sometimes, even if you don't agree with people, that it doesn't require all of that. Like, you let her know more than once that the trip was whack, that the place was whack, that she's an awful host. Like, she gets it. But that's all I have. Like the video, as I said earlier, as it helps the channel, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're on the road to 4,000, and I hope to get there sooner than later. Until next time, peace.